What's going on, YouTube? It's recap time. Had a nice little retracel here. So let's get into some of our levels. Now, let's get to the messy chart real quick. This is a really fun one. So we had a couple different short targets from last video, and we were looking to go back long off of these short targets or sooner. And sooner had happened, and we'll obviously go through why right here, which is pretty easy. The 50 Fibonacci, now remember 50 to 38.20, we call this the golden pocket. Now this is a weekly range of that golden pocket, okay? Very long-standing time frame, right? Way more powerful than the daily 4-hour 30. As we've seen the price action yesterday and the day prior, here's that 50 line, right? We had dipped into the golden pocket, okay? That means support and reversals can happen at any time between the 38.20 and the 50 here, okay? So yesterday's trading, we had a great reversal. Here's a low. What is this? Higher low, right? Let's look at some bottoming action. We can look at the MAC as well, creating higher lows from yesterday. So if we look here and here, MAC was giving us some deep readings, all associated with higher lows. Let's move to the next morning prior. Not deep at all. Oscillation indicators are starting to get on there. MAC, again, the lagger, but definitely the most useful trading tool we use, helping us out with this golden pocket decision. Now, today and yesterday, these are beautiful moves today. So yesterday, we did a beautiful long reversal. So anything over the 50, and I'll show you the fibs that we had on. I'll even give you a freebie here. Not going to tell you why, but we had these guys right here, and we had this Fibonacci on, and I wanted to get down to the target short of about 431 and 430 before the reversal happened, and we ended up doing about 19 cents away from that first reversal point. No big deal. Now, an invalidation happened at this 100% level because once price action has moved back up over the 100% fib after getting close to the 1618, that invalidates that downside Fibonacci. We then look to the upside to complete and flip. So once inside the 100 fib of invalidation, this becomes support, and we look to push all the way to the 0 fib, thus resulting in backtracking this Fibonacci, which we did completely. So this was an entry in the morning, squeeze up from here, and it actually gave us a little bonus round above the 10 SMA. Really good. Now, moving into today, we had a dip to rip outlook. I wanted half candle retrace, but we caught some support ahead of time, 38.20. And again, golden pocket got bought up ahead of time. You can see right here from the fibs we just drew, golden pocket right there tagged, okay? So we had some interesting stuff set up right here for that long during the Powell meeting. And then we had forced continuation above, obviously, the 61.8, the next fib. So if we were looking at the 50 weekly right here, right? Anything above that yesterday, long. Let's get a push to the next weekly fib right here. Anything confirmation above this one, long as well. It's trend, right? So let's take a peek at what we've seen on price action trend. Came down, hit prior gap, pushed up. Here's the break point. We broke over the weekly Fibonacci 61.8, came back down. What is this? Confirmational back test and right to long. And we went over this in about 3 videos ago too, where we go to the daily chart now and we say, well, where are we going to? What could we possibly happen? Well, nothing goes in a straight line. So let's get this down right here and I'll explain what we're looking for right here. And we were looking for further longs into lower high territory. So we called the over hot right here, got the whole short last week, check the vids. And then we had a opportunity to start reversing that off the 50 and 38.20. Here's the golden pocket. Dipped into the golden pocket, right? Pushed out. Now where are we going? Well, we have an opportunity to come back up towards that gap fill that we had left up here. And that's still potential lower high territory, okay? So high, base, decision making, okay? So right here in between the unfilled gap and 439.50, which is the 78.60 fib right here, this little zone, that's what we're going to be looking at now, okay? So with that being said, lower high probable or force break right through the gap, 10 SMA loop and FOMO out. Well, we have no idea. But the scale for me is I'm still going to lean a little bit towards top, lower high, small correction coming into the week, maybe after Powell, maybe best case scenario coming back down and tackling some of those low 420 gaps. If this does not happen, we will maintain trend above the 10 SMA daily because we are going to break over that today. Right here's your 10. We're going to push potential lower high, get stopped right there. And that 10 SMA becomes support, loops back up, and then it comes up to more of a double top scenario, or FOMO's out completely higher. Doesn't matter to me. We'll see when it gets there. But the end all be all golden is right at 450 and backside of this trend tag again. So if we do loop that gap and do maybe a cup handle pattern push, we're still going 449. Or inversely, we pick up that lower high, we track back down, we look for the confirmation back to the low 420s gap fills that we have down here. Now, there's a couple of them down there, and unless we have catalyst to do so, now let's look one more time at the RSI, we may not get there. So this is why I'm still kind of lean to that short side just a little bit. We have the MAC cross, and let's look at our oscillation tools here. We're very high right now on this MAC cross. So we're getting up into that high zone of the MAC. We got a little bit of a cross. Now, it doesn't mean anything has to go down. It just means, we're coming off of a hot, just like we did last time, and this hot fell, pushed up, lower high, fell, continuation. Hot, lower high, fall, pullback, continuation. That means this RSI line can come back down to that half retrace point area and then create a higher low from the last time it was near oversold. Okay. So we'll watch for that 50 point, and then that might just continue to the next ray back up, or we break that 50 back test and complete a further pullback, which would lead us to some of these other gap fills lower 400 that are needed. But we'll talk about that when we get there, because we're not going to go too much farther under the golden 50 anyway. And that golden 50 does line up with prior gap and 414.31. So that would be very heavily catalyst driven. We need another news source that's going to happen. But for right now, we had a beautiful reversal out of the golden pocket, 2 days worth of long, had some fat greens here, and we might even track down that gap today. Who knows? Maybe we track down close to that gap instead of waiting for Powell tomorrow. But regardless, I think we're going to get up towards this gap right here, very close to the 78.60 fib, and is going to have to make a decision. If Powell continues the press tomorrow and we continue that forcefulness, great. We're just going to continue on trend and watch for the next target. And the backside of the 446 and 4450 is where we're going to go if we break out of the prior top. But we have that double top to deal with first. So I am leaning towards a little bit of that lower high scenario still, so this RSI can relax just a little bit. So you get that hit right here of support, you'll push up, you'll get almost hot again. So like won't quite get here, but it'll get like just a little higher, maybe even break over this RSI top. Find yourself walking down to the 50 point. That's when your next long is going to be, where the half retrace of that 50 oscillation tool comes in. And then best case scenario is that price action would fail that gap. It will be coming down to some of those gap supports. So those are your market predictions. Recap of the last 2 days. Hope you guys are trading safe. Stay tuned for the next.